So I chose Gloom and Doom for the title of my album because the majority of the texts we read had to do with had a lot of sorrow and death in them, and so I thought this was a very fitting title. So for Lord of the Flies, for the theme, I chose Animals by Maroon 5, and I chose this because the song describes humans' natural struggle against savagery. And Jack and all the other boys really went through this struggle. Um, and Jack didn't really even try to fight it. Jack just went full savage. The other boys, some of them did, some of them didn't. But the main thing here is like at the end when Jack is and his crew were trying to chase out Ralph and kill him like an animal. Um, it has to do with this lyric here. I can smell your scent from miles, just like animals. They're pretty much become like pure animals at this point when they're trying to kill Ralph in the woods. Okay, and then for the character focus, I chose Jack, and I chose "Beat It" by Michael Jackson, and I chose "Beat It" because this is kind of Jack's attitude toward everybody on the island. He just beats fear into them to gain respect. He doesn't climb up the leadership ladder like Ralph. Instead, he relies on beating fear into people to gain power on the island. For Beowulf, I chose "Go the Distance" by Michael Bolton, and the reason I chose this is because Beowulf he was very courageous. He didn't back down, and he was very selfless because he chose to fight to protect the other people, even though he knew he could die because he is mortal. He is mortal, and even though he's super strong, he did end up dying in the end with a dragon. But his strength was really he had a very strong heart in him. And then I also used illusion for this text. So Grendel's description it alludes to being a descendant of Cain, and the resemblance here is that Cain was a son of Adam, and Eve, and he killed his brother Abel out of jealousy. And Grendel also attacks out of jealousy the Danes. He's jealous that they're celebrating while he's down there living in misery in the swamp. For the Canterbury Tales, I chose Money, That's What I Want, because all the partner really wants is money, and all the people in the story he tells really want is money. And the irony here is that he tells the story about how greed's evil, yet he's the most greedy of them all. So that's really all he wants is money. And then the older woman in the Chaucer's Wife of Bath's Tale, I chose Hard-Headed Woman for her because she's very hard-headed. She's had 5 husbands, and she's resembled by the older woman in her tale. And the older woman, she tricks the knight into getting married to where he's obligated to get married to her, and he begs her to change her mind. Just anything else he says, I'll do, but she will not change her mind. She's pretty hard-headed. For Othello, I used "You Lie" by Ben Perry, and I said that I'd use this because after Iago tricked or manipulated Othello, there was no going back. By the time Desdemona said she was innocent, at this point his mind can't be changed, and it just makes him want to kill her more. And motif in this, there's a lot of motifs about demons, hell, and monsters in this text, and so I chose "Demons" by Imagine Dragons to represent those. Iago, he was jealous of Cassio's promotion, and the motif is used to show the jealousy and rage characters as evil. So he was shown as evil throughout the text as the antagonist using this motif. And Othello is also kind of showed as evil, especially toward the end after he kills Desdemona. For Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I chose Smooth Criminal for the theme. And the reason I chose Smooth Criminal is because Mr. Hyde's very elusive. He can hide within Dr. Jekyll, take his money. So he's very mobile. He's able to get out of the circumstances he creates. And then for Monster, I chose Monster for the symbolism. Hyde symbolizes the fear of losing one's reputation. And I chose this because he didn't want to be seen as the monster. Dr. Jekyll did not want to be seen as the monster by his people, the people around him. And so he was like, what if I sin? What if I break? He kind of pushed those boundaries a little bit until eventually he did become the monster. He could not change back from Dr. Jekyll, and that's when he killed himself. For Christmas Carol, I chose "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson because Scrooge has a complete change of heart at the end of the novel. He really does look in the mirror, and he does make a change. And he goes from isolation and bitterness to becoming one of the most generous people in the town. He raises Bob's salary, helps Tiny Tim, so he becomes a good man after visiting the ghost and seeing what his greed caused, the pain it caused people. And then for the mood, Scrooge has a tremendous effect on the mood in the story. The song I chose is "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," because Mr. Grinch has a very big effect on the mood in that movie too. But they're very similar. They both start out hating Christmas. They both start out of isolation. They're both no one wanted to come near them. They were afraid of them. They sensed their hatred. And then at the end, they both come to love Christmas. So the big takeaway here is that all the British literature we read throughout the semester is that the theme was good versus evil and within man, and this kind of connects back to the biblical in Christianity and in the different allusions that we saw throughout the text to the Bible. And a pattern I noticed is that the innocent and characters fighting for good are always associated with the Christian God, when the characters full of sin and evil are always related to the devil, and it kind of shows that eternal battle between the two.